joining us on Savvy Senior Sources, Talking with Experts. Let's take a moment and hear from our sponsors, GWG Life and Reverse Mortgages SIDAC.
What is the secondary market for life insurance? The secondary market for life insurance is an emerging financial market that provides individuals options with their policies. These options allow policyholders to benefit from the value of their life insurance. Policies are sometimes a financial burden, especially for seniors, as premiums often increase over time. The secondary market offers financial alternatives that can help policyholders benefit from their life insurance now.
Hi, I'm Beth Paterson, a certified reverse mortgage professional with Reverse Mortgages SIDAC. Bob's wife passed away, meaning his Social Security income was cut in half. His financial advisor suggested he look into a reverse mortgage. With the reverse mortgage, he was able to take a dream vacation with his nephew and the stories that they can share. After Bob passed away, his niece shared the difference that it made to the whole family. Dorothy did the reverse mortgage in order to protect her other retirement funds. With her line of credit, she was able to travel, buy a new car, and do home repairs. Years later, she's still benefiting from the reverse mortgage line of credit and not having to rely on her children. For more information on how you too can have security, independence, dignity, and control, contact us. Hi, welcome to today's show of Savvy Senior Sources, Talking with Experts. Savvy Senior Sources guide your way through resources A to V for seniors, boomers, caregivers, and their advisors. Today's show, we're going to be talking about adult day services. But before we get into that, I'd like to say thank you to our sponsors, GWG Life and Reverse Mortgages SIDAC, who make this show possible. And I'd like to again welcome my co-host, Marci Holley from Minneapolis Public Housing, and also thank you for hosting our show today. Our guest today is Gail Skoglund from Augustana Open Circle, one of the adult day services in the Twin City area. And our paths have crossed through the years many times, so it's exciting to have you on the show today. So thanks and welcome.
Well, thank you, Marci, and thank you, Beth, for having me here today. Yes, I'm very passionate about Adult Day, and thank you so much for the opportunity to tell about the best secret that's out there in long-term care options.
Yes, and besides working with Augustana Open Circle, you serve on the board of the association?
I am. I'm actually co-president of our state association for the Minnesota Adult Day Service Association as well.
Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on, but start out by talking about what is adult day services, because as you touched on, it's a secret. A lot of people don't know about the option.
Absolutely. Well, adult day services really started in the state of Minnesota over 35 years ago. And it was unlicensed at the beginning, and we got licensed in the late 80s, became licensed part of the Minnesota Department of Human Services. Adult day services really are community-based. So in the state of Minnesota, we have about 170 adult day centers.
Okay.
And so there are all kinds of adult day centers, but the idea is to really be a part of the continuum of care when people need that extra support to remain living at home, wherever that may be. Mm-hmm. It could be assisted living, it could be there with their adult children, it could be in their own apartment. It's really to provide support, daytime support. Majority are Monday through Friday, and the hours vary anywhere from 9 to 3 or 5:30 till 6 p.m.
Okay.
Depending on what the needs are
in
the different community.
Mm-hmm. And my understanding, some of them provide transportation and others you have to get the transportation there. But talk a little bit more about what adult day services are. I've heard it compared to child care, but it's not necessarily child care. So
It
talk,
is not.
yeah, you prefer to call it
Adult day services rather than adult day care, because adult day care feels kind of demeaning.
Yeah.
How many of us in our 60s, 70s, 80s want to go to daycare? But adult day services or the club that they're members of is much more appealing. So it's a structured day. Majority are Monday through Friday, and there's the social model of adult day, meaning they come in and they get the majority of their socialization. They get to be with peers and friends and do kinds of activities. There's also the adult day health model, and that where you have a higher emphasis on healthcare support, nursing support, chronic care management, diabetes management, etc. Adult day services, everyone who attends an adult day is there for a reason. Meaning they need some kind of assistance with activities of daily living. A typical user could be somebody with dementia. They're widely used in Minnesota for caring for people with a diagnosis of dementia. Also chronic care conditions, physical limitations, MS, Parkinson's, stroke survivors, and people who are frail and isolated or have very little family support.
Okay.
And as a caregiver, Gail, this would be perfect for me, taking care of my mom, not wanting to leave her home alone all day.
Absolutely. In fact, adult day centers are for the members that we serve and enroll and for the family caregivers. Absolutely. A very critical part to give the caregiver respite. So can have a break in the day, but also have some support. I say at Open Circle, we enlarge the circle of caring as we've really become a member, a very key component of that family team in providing care. But it gives the person who's coming a sense of purpose, a sense of belonging. We are by nature human beings that seek other humans.
Yes.
And we've lived structured lives, getting up, going to work, going to school, whatever that might be. And as we get older, our needs change. And so to be able to find some support where you can be okay and supported to continue that community engagement is ultimately very important. We often see people thrive in adult day because it sure beats isolation, being at home. And they utilize skills every day.
I remember when your adult day first opened, you had a few family members that said, what is going on there during the day? Because I picked up my mom or my dad and they went right to sleep when they got home.
Yeah. There's something to get up and look forward to, something to do during the day. Physical activity, cognitive stimulation, that opportunity to be needed and be in part. So they do go home. It helps us all to go home and sleep better when we've had a productive day. Rather than sitting at home watching TV with little stimulation.
Yes.
Oftentimes when we age, you know, it's a trip to the bathroom and a trip to the kitchen for some snacks and then back to the living room in front of the TV. So this is about a structured day of being engaged.
And you mentioned about the socialization, and a lot of times we hear that people don't get the socialization in their home, but this is an opportunity for them to have the socialization, to get out amongst peers, but also caregivers.
Absolutely.
And make a difference in their lives. But it's also for the caregiver who, whether you're going to work and you're trying to juggle your work life, be that sandwich generation where you're juggling your life and trying to worry about and take care of your aging parent who has some needs, knowing that they're at this adult day center so that you're at work, you can focus on your job, which helps employment.
Absolutely.
And then but still know that they're taken care of and they're still getting that socialization.
Exactly. And, you know, we are a critical component for the working caregiver to allow them to continue to be continue to be working caregivers. And we do have numerous of our members that are in family situations where their spouse is still working or their adult children are still working. But I also say that we know our members extremely well. As we age, our bodies present illness differently. And when someone's enrolled in our program 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 days a week, our staff really knows extremely well what to look for when things are just a little bit off, which can oftentimes we'll recommend a trip to the doc, and a prevention of dehydration or hospitalization might be to a urinary tract infection or some other kind of infection. So, you know, we're a part of that big team of working with caregivers, helping them the caregiver and the care receiver be as healthy as possible.
That other set of eyes,
Absolutely.
which has to be a huge relief to caregivers to know that.
And you know, in the staffing for adult day tends to be, on an average, to meet state requirements, it's a fancy formula, but it's about 1 to 6. And when we're working in many of our centers, we have 1 to 4, 1 to 5, depending on, but we really get to know them very intimately, and in that person-centered care can really help them thrive in a social environment.
And I'm assuming that you get to know what their interests are, if they like to play cards, if they were a mechanic or, you know, a nurse, and then share and develop their experiences around those interests.
Absolutely. In fact, for Open Circle, our entire calendar, monthly calendar of events at all 3 of our centers, one which is here at Heritage Park, one in Apple Valley, and one in Hopkins. Our calendar is really a balanced calendar hitting all the psychosocial, physical, spiritual needs of each person, but it's much deeper than that. Who are we serving? What would be topics of interest? How can we engage them in the programming? And it is with great success because it allows everyone to see the other person in a different light, as a human being, not as the one that's aging and it has nothing to contribute, but to be seen as a vital individual. So we work really hard that the whole peer group gets to experience that.
Talk a little bit more about the benefits to those who come and also to the caregivers.
Sure. For people who are enrolled in our program, that sense of purpose, that sense of belonging, being a part of a community shines brightly. It shines through their joy that we see, their interactions, their willingness to participate and try things that they've never been exposed to.
Like the Y.
The YMCA. I can't tell you can I tell a story here real
Of
quick?
course,
Yes.
of course.
I was talking with one of our members who is visually impaired significantly and also has some cognitive deficits. And it came time for our time at the Y, and she kind of got left behind, and she said, wait a minute, I want to go to the YMCA. And I said, oh, absolutely, I'll walk you over. And on our way over, our conversation was, you know, did you ever belong to a exercise group or a club or a YMCA? She said, no, never. To think I'm 83 and working out at the Y and wanting to go. I mean, and you know, the significant differences in that is her balance is better, her stability, she's at lower risk for falls. What it does for your memory, just getting the blood flowing, is wonderful. And there she is at the Y with her cohorts all doing the new step. Yeah, the benefits are huge for our members. Decrease in depression.
Okay.
Lower risk of falls, lower risk of readmissions to hospitalizations, because we can do some of that preventive work. For chronic care conditions, we have, many adult days actually have nursing staff, so we can do the diabetic management, we can do the special diets, etc. So there's a lot of benefits, health and emotional and spiritual as well.
And diets, they're eating here, and
Yes.
A benefit for the caregiver is knowing that they're coming and they're getting fed and not just relying on what may be in the refrigerator, but they're not touching it.
Exactly, or it's not the
You know,
Diet Coke or the ice cream that we all want to eat on. So we have great healthy meals here, and they get some choices at our center here into, if they don't like this, then there's other options. So there's some free way, because you know what, we all want to have a little bit of say-so and control in what our lives are, but we do meet special diets and really encourage them to and we are aware of what they do consume, so families can have that information as well.
Great.
Because when you have dementia, we're not always the most accurate reporters, so that's our job.
Yeah.
You guys also help with hygiene, which when I first, was introduced to this adult day, I thought was very interesting. But when you leave mom or dad home alone, you can ask them, did you take a shower today? Oh yeah, I took a shower. But you guys have a shower facility, and
We do. We have incredible staff, nursing assistants that will assist with the personal cares, and it can be from incontinency management to shaving to getting showers. For oftentimes, as we age, our own homes don't allow us to do that because of the tub, the risk of falls, or no one to supervise, or, it can be quite awkward as a adult mom taking care of an adult child, son, living with a son, and the son says, I don't want to give mom a bath.
Yeah.
So for those families that need it, they can contract to have it done here. And so some people get showers every day and some get none, and we've got everything in between.
Yeah.
So, and foot care can be done in again, the adult day health models will offer a lot more of the opportunities for those kinds of extra services. We'll even do laundry if there's an issue of a spill, or somebody is incontinent and we have extra clothing, because as caregivers need those extra breaks. If we can assist and do that extra little touch, it's worth a lot to not have to go home and deal with soiled clothing. So, and dignity for everyone.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
at all times,
that is a big part of it. Well, you mentioned about the why, and we need to go back and explain that where Open Circle is, and then also a little bit more about here. I also want you to share about the what is a day in the life of somebody who's here.
Okay. Well, yes, I am with Augustana Open Circle Adult Day Services, which is part of Augustana Care. It's been around for 119 years. That's a long time.
That is a long time, yeah.
And Open Circle is just such a great part of that continuum of care for Augustana, because we work really hard every day to inspire the folks that are in our care to live the lives that they want. So Open Circle has 3 centers, and that, as I said, alluded to earlier, Apple Valley and Hopkins, which is our Hopkins Center, has been around for 32 years.
Okay.
And we were very privileged to have the opportunity to come to this new, beautiful facility 3 years ago. We are licensed for 32 to participate in the day. We average about 20 to 25 to 28 a day. But that means we have about 52 to 55 people enrolled, because not everybody comes 5 days a week. So, you look at, we're touching those families, and that many people from this community. Our members come from as far away as Coon Rapids, South Minneapolis, the area, the neighborhood as well, from all walks of life. Benefits of being at this is destination.
I was going to say, you're located within the Heritage Park Senior Community, and which is also houses the Minneapolis Public Housing, the YMCA, the
Courage Kenny.
Courage Kenny. And so there's a lot of advantages of being connected and to.
Absolutely. In the olden days of Adult Day 30 years ago, I've been in church basements. I've been in the back of a school building that had been closed. I've pretty much seen it all. This is a destination. This is an Adult Day provider's dream come true. Being in this community center, it offers so much. As I alluded to earlier, our members have the opportunity to work out the YMCA, and we've seen phenomenal changes in people's lives just by that alone. If somebody's having difficulty swallowing, or has had a recent fracture or hospitalization, or having trouble walking, we connect them with Courage Kenny. They can get therapy while they're here. We'll escort them to the therapies.
Yes.
And then once they're discharged from therapies, our staff learns how to best utilize what they've learned, so we can help instill and continue that, so it's a part of habits.
Who pays, how it's paid for, and So
Great.
touch on that real quick.
Sure. Across the, again, with the other adult day centers, private pay is always, and you're going to see a variance in what a typical day costs. I'm going to say a typical day in the average of $75 to $80 a day for a 6-hour day. If people are on Medicaid and Medicare together, we are a part of and have a contract with the state of Minnesota to provide waivered services. So if people are having a financial difficulty, we will certainly assist them with that connection. Also, we have a contract with the Veterans Administration, so we can serve veterans in this adult day that qualify. And then long-term care insurance is also a provider of.
Okay.
So.
And our sponsors, GWG Life, which is converting the life insurance policies into cash for people, can also pay. The funds from that can be utilized to pay for adult day services, as well as a reverse mortgage. And Reverse Mortgages SIDAC is a sponsor also, and specializing in it, I have had clients who have used their reverse mortgage funds to pay for that care to help people stay in their home.
Exactly. And
have
it's
those
the
services.
least restrictive and the best bang for your dollars with adult day. For what you get from assisted living and from long-term care, there's certainly a necessary component of the continuum of care, but adult day is a pretty good deal.
Yes.
In the long-term care, if you can say that.
So talk about how the life in the day, and then I wanted to hear about Cotton Top.
We are person-centered in everything that we do. So first and foremost is the individual who's going to enroll in our program. Are they a morning person, an afternoon person? One of their greatest opportunities, or when is it best for them to be engaged in the program? So people have leeway as to when they come. We have people here as early as 7:30, and we have people coming as close to noon, depending on what their family situation is, what their needs are. So upon arrival, we do a lot of socialization, interaction, engagement. A lot of it's one-on-one, small group activities. From there, we do, not only do we exercise the why, we have a fully integrated exercise program within the adult day for those that aren't interested in the why. And so we do exercises. After that, we break into what we call parallel programming, offering options. And a very famous part of Open Circle is Circle of Prayer. So those that are interested, we have volunteers that come Monday through Friday and lead the opportunity to sing and worship. And it's only for those that are interested, but it's an option. And others are doing small group activities, games, brain boosters, iPad, all kinds of variety of activities. Lunchtime, again, is such an important part. Good food and great conversation. And then in the afternoon, we break into, again, some other additional parallel programming. And we do adult education. We do music. We just finished a 12-week choral experience with vocal lessons, which culminated in a marvelous concert here.
Amazing.
It was amazing to see our people shine, if they've been in a choir before or if they haven't been in a choir. Art experiences. We are just getting a new bus, which will allow us to be out in the community, which will really take us way beyond the borders of Open Circle. So we do walks. We have this beautiful art exhibit that changes every so often.
Every 3 months?
Every 3 months. So we have our own internal art gallery in which we do walking trips. If somebody's been interested in something, we will do it. We will highlight it. We will let the others experience it.
Great.
So.
And then share about Cotton Top.
Cotton Top. Well,
and the difference it's made, because he has an amazing story.
He does. One of the gentlemen in our program, and I know Marci is familiar with him, actually I'm going to refer to him as Cotton Top because of course we can't reveal names, but it's a name that he was given 83 or 84 years ago by his grandfather. He's 86 years young and lives in his own home with his caregiver. And he really was referred to Open Circle because he had had 3 hospitalizations within a very short period. He's a veteran, so he was using the Vets Administration Medical Center. And some of his diagnoses were congestive heart failure, atrial fib, diabetes, COPD, and depression. And you know, really came to us with a load of health conditions. So once he was enrolled, it's easy for us to identify those goals that we need to work on, and you know, proper nutrition and good oversight, etc. But along with that, it's equally important for us to know who he is. What motivates him? What's his life experiences been? To really get anyone engaged and feel a part of the community. He came to us, his origination was in the banks of Arkansas, in a log cabin with not really much. Didn't have much, but his grandfather was a very important person in his life, and he loves helping people. Huge motivator. So coming on in here, he agreed to try being our guinea pig. He was really one of our very first that started at the YMCA, and he started out two days a week, starting on the new stuff. Well, now he has a routine of an hour, 3 times a week, working at the Y. The difference in that is he's off his diabetic medications. Many of his heart meds are cut down. He's had 0 hospitalizations since his enrollment.
Wow.
You know, some pretty
difference.
profound
Yeah,
changes in his life.
Huge difference.
But while doing that, his love and passion, one of his passions in life was about the Appalachian people. He used to do mission trips down there, so he's engaged with our staff members and done programs and presentations in adult education for our other folks. He's part Native American, so he's done some programming on that. So the staff helps him with the research, and together they do it. And you know, isn't that wow? The opportunity to teach and make a difference. He doesn't use his cane either any longer.
Yeah, his life has really changed
Totally around. So
that's one of few stories.
Yeah. Oh, and I know there's many stories. But with that, we're gonna say thank you for being here, and for people to reach out to Adult Day Services for their life to change and become like Cotton Top, and the difference it can make to the person as well as the caregiver. So thank you, Gail, for being here. Contact information for Open Circle is on the bottom of the screen, as well as the Association for Adult Day Services to find one in your area. Again, Marci, thank you for being here as co-host. And a last thank you to our sponsors, GWG Life and Reverse Mortgages SIDAC. And don't forget to go to SavvySeniorSources.com for information on resources and the resource guide. Thanks for joining us today.
Provide for your long-term care. Convert your life insurance towards payments for long-term care. If you are concerned about future health care, you can convert your life insurance to pay for home care or assisted living. Health problems can be stressful enough without the added burden of financial obligations. If you feel that you no longer need your life insurance policy, you may want to apply the value towards long-term care.
Hi, I'm Beth Paterson, a certified reverse mortgage professional with Reverse Mortgages SIDAC. Mike and Carol decided that they needed a one-level home to fit their changing health needs. They used the reverse mortgage to purchase their new home instead of using conventional financing. This has benefited them greatly. Barbara decided to do a reverse mortgage to pay off her conventional loan that she was making monthly payments on. She had funds left in the line of credit after paying that off. And a year or so later, when she fell and broke her shoulder, she was able to tap those lines of credit to pay for her home care. As she said, she would have been up the creek without a paddle without the reverse mortgage. If you'd like information on how to receive security, independence, dignity, and control in your retirement years, contact us.